Mosley, with you until sometime in we'll go a couple of hours. Who knows? We've got, we'll go 1 to 3, maybe. We've got Steven Simcox, TCU Insider. Like, wait, I thought y'all talked a lot of Baylor. We will. It's always through a Baylor lens, and we got Baylor news today, Kevin. We had this news a good while ago, but we just kind of, again, this was news that I kind of knew was coming, and Scott Drew hinted at it pretty heavily his last appearance with us when they put out the Baylor's non-conference schedule. Scott jumped on with us. Scott's been on with us a couple of times this offseason. We've enjoyed that. And we've got new and Kevin, you've got some of that. The breaking news. Let's go ahead and share, Kevin. I kind of like this. Okay. And we'll get to, I want to talk about the Big Ten because the Big Ten's actually did something. The SEC put out silly statement. But the Big Ten actually tried to stand behind what they're doing. Okay. We want to praise the Big Ten a little bit here in a minute. But Kevin, go ahead if you would and give me the the breaking news sounder, please. There it is. Baylor, this announcement coming from Baylor about 3 hours ago. Again, we've known it. We kind of sat on this one. We've hinted at it. I think I even said it recently. If you're watching the Mosley Show, that is when you get the information first. Why is that? Oh, well, I don't know. Why do the coaches watch our show more than any other show out there? The Baylor coaches I'm talking about. Why do we get everybody first on this show? Well, there's a reason, okay? They trust us. And so occasionally, because of that, we'll sit on some news. And to me, this was not like anything, Mosley hid this from us. No, you're not going to be mad at me for this one. Baylor versus Florida exhibition game, Sunday, October 18th. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Kevin. I think there are some things, Kevin, we can post that we can feel pretty safe about. Kevin and I have been trying to, we're making sure we play by the rules. All right. And we were told recently, hey guys, we can't do all this. We can't use some of this. But when it comes to Baylor, Kevin, I think we're pretty safe because Baylor loves our show and they love, and then the guys at Sikkim love our show. So I think we're safe with Sikkim stuff and anything from Baylor. All right, Kev, Baylor versus Florida. Kev, what's the latest we've seen on Florida's rankings? Probably like top 5. I mean, I think as high as maybe even number 1 in the country in some rankings. We know Illinois is a top 5 team, and again, Baylor's going to play them in an exhibition. That's going to be in Champaign, home of Illinois. I think that's State Farm Arena where they play. Kevin, that's right down the road from where you spent a lot of your youth. Or I don't know, Kevin. It's hard to say where all you spent your youth, but you spent a lot of your life in Indiana.
Yeah.
So
a couple weeks ago, a way too early ranking had Florida at number 1.
Wow. What about Illinois? Take a peek at that. Anyway, This game is October 18th. It's going to be at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. All right. So there you go.
Illinois, number 3.
I'm being told, Kevin, as we speak, one of our marketing deals that we do, Kevin, with the great Camp OTX. I don't have my cap on today. And I'm being told by one of the owners of and founders of OTX to put the cap on. I don't have it with me. I don't have it with me right now. But every once in a while, Kevin, I like to, what did I have this morning? Oh, I had a big meeting online. So I actually put some shampoo in my hair, if you can imagine something like that. Now, Kev, for the big news that we were going to share, shout out to the Torn family, by the way, Chris Torn. Kev, who, by the way, I think many years ago went through a week or two of Texas A&M football practice as a yell leader. And today I was noticing, Kevin, there was a yell leader going through practice today, maintaining an old tradition. Now, back in the day, I think they actually put them in some Oklahoma drills and let them get hit. To me now, I think, I don't know. I would imagine this looked like a little fella. He was in a 12 jersey signifying the 12th man, and looked like they just kind of letting him run through some drills. I don't really think they're lining up and letting the people hit them. Back when Phil Bennett was the linebackers coach or defensive coordinator for Texas A&M circa 1990, 96 or 97, they would have lined up and let people tee off on the yell leaders, on the Texas A&M yell leaders. Now, again, these kids are pretty slight. These young men are not built for that kind of activity out there on the field. Appreciate. Oh, Kevin, I didn't even put my hit me with our teaser, Kevin, because I didn't even tell our Twitter audience we were starting, and we're already like 11 minutes into the show. We usually have that large Twitter bump that we get. So, Kev, and thanks for everybody that likes to watch us on premium Twitter. We appreciate that. Okay.
I already sent it to you.
Oh, well, Kev. Okay. Why don't you just correct me in front of people? All right, Kevin, we do have the news that, thank you, Big Ten. Thank you for showing some stones. Any player, here we go. The Big Ten and all the ADs have already voted on this morning, or last night, so we're good to go on this thing. The Big Ten is set to pass a rule Tuesday that stops players returning from the NFL from playing for one of its schools, sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel. Any player who's declared for the NFL draft and did not withdraw, appeared on an NFL roster, or signed a contract with a pro league cannot be on a Big Ten roster. All right. The Big Ten's ADs have unanimously approved the rules, sources told Thamel, but the conference's faculty athletic representatives still need to vote in favor of the proposal to formally establish it as a conference rule. The Big Ten's ruling comes in the aftermath of two NFL players. That's Cleveland's Daquan Wright. Kevin, they watched the Cleveland give the job to Deshaun Watson, said, we want out of here. Let's get out of here. Cleveland's Daquan White, and then New Orleans' Xavier Harris, parting with their respective teams to join Lane Kiffin's roster at LSU. Kevin, we also have other roster issues at LSU involving the women's basketball team and Kim Mulkey. And I can shed some light on this for you going on. But Wright and Harris both played for Kiffin at Ole Miss. They're returning to college football thanks to a court order. And one of these players, Kevin, I think it was Daquan Wright. Or was it Harris? One of these players, when Kiffin left, just ripped him, just crushed him. It's amazing how things can change with a little financial offer. A little financial offer comes through. Now, last night, and apparently the Big 12 is going to try to do something. ACC maybe. It said ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips told ESPN on Tuesday that his conference plans to discuss the topic this week. No no NFL players want to come to the ACC. Oh, goodness. The SEC issued a statement Monday emphasizing its belief that athletes who choose to leave college athletics and sign pro contracts, quote, should not then be permitted to return to college competition. Now, Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach, said Monday that he hopes to speak soon with Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti about creating a conference-wide rule that establishes a date after which schools cannot add players to their current roster. This Wright that we're talking about, Daquan Wright, dressed for the Browns preseason game against the Bills on Saturday, but didn't play. He was waived by the Browns on Monday and can join LSU if he clears waivers Tuesday. Cowboys ought to just take him just to screw with him, not let him go back to LSU. All right, Jerry being a big Arkansas guy, let's just mess with LSU. Arkansas with the hardest schedule in the country this year. And Kevin, I know we got to figure out our rules on how much of these videos we can play. And I hate this because I enjoy all these videos. We'll figure it out. Kevin knows how to do these things. But Kevin, yesterday, Kiffin, to be so funny and arrogant and whatever, boy, he can sometimes come across as a real creep on these videos. And I mean, maybe you say, well, you're the guy in the sunglasses with the weird hair, so maybe I can come across as a creep too. But Kiffin, there's something in the way he presents himself. He's kind of a soft talker, and he's kind of doing some weird stuff. And I thought he was very weird yesterday. He said players are, quote, either going to play for you or they're going to play for someone else around the country. The old argument, I heard Ole Miss coaches do it recently. Well, we're getting past. If we don't do this, everybody's going this way. Hey, listen, Baylor's had this same issue. They said, hey, we got this cap. We got this salary cap, NIL cap. Y'all hear about this? $21.5 million. All right, that's all schools have to work with on this new house settlement. All right, man, this is awesome. We're all going to play by the same set of rules. And then Baylor looked over, and everybody's just zoom, 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 just racing past the Bears. Wait, what about this $21 million? Well, then you get the house settled, or the this Protect College Sports Act is they're out there like, oh, we're going to make the new cap $48 million. Oh, okay, great. Then you got to go out, find out, can you come up with a $48 million budget? Can you even hit that? Can any of these schools? And then meanwhile, you got poor Tarleton like, hey, we want to play. Yeah, we want to, what we'd like to do is come up here and have a D1 football program. Really? Is that what you want? You want to somehow, I mean, because it's not like none of these programs are equal. I mean, it's all the haves and the have-nots. Baylor's sitting there with TCU, and they would be viewed by a big portion of the country as like a big-time program, and yet they don't even play in the same, planet as Texas Tech. And then Texas Tech, of course, will hear me talking and be like, "It's not true. We don't have more than Ohio State and Michigan and maybe Texas A&M and Texas." Well, you're right up there. All right. If Tech is working with a $30 million football roster budget, Baylor's probably sitting there at about 15 or 16. All right. That's where it is. So, and I'm sorry, but Tech, and I know Blanchard, I like Joey's a good friend. I like all those people. I really do. And I don't begrudge them. I'm jealous. I'd love to have all that money and be doing all this stuff. But stop worrying what people are saying. Oh, we don't have that much. People, come on now. You guys are the big bullies on the block now. Don't let the Sonny Dykes of the world get under your skin. Golly, Sonny's always out there just yipping. Yip, 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 yip. And unfortunately, Tech bites on it. And here's the reason. Tech is a bully, and they've become kind of monsters, but they still bugs them that people call them that. You got to just embrace it. If you're going to be a villain, be a villain. Stop letting the yippy dogs get under your skin. I mean, Sonny is a big time. I mean, he is not like his dad. Now, I think he's a good guy like his dad. I mean, I like Sonny Dykes, but it's a different kind of deal. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how somebody's son, he worshiped his dad, but can come across as so different than his homespun sort of old school SWC coaching dad. It's very, very different. It happens. Not all these guys are alike. All right, Kev, we've come out firing. Oh, I was going to explain that other thing to you. Kim Mulkey's taking a lot of heat today. All right. She had a big statement that she put out. And let me tell you what this is about. LSU had a center last year from Ukraine. All right. And she was okay. 8 or 9 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. Her name was Kate Koval, Koval. Well, it just so happens that she's from Ukraine. Her father's fighting in the war against Russia. In fact, what I've been told is that he's in charge of their drones. He's sending the drones over there. He's firing around. He's a big part of the deal. Well, so she decided she's leaving the program for personal reasons. Why is that? Well, Kim recently signed Russian freshman. She's like 17 years old, and she's like unbelievable, apparently. Anna Maneva. Now, Koval's father, Alexander, it's Oleksandr, is a drone operator for the Ukrainian military. All right. So here was the Mulkey statement on. And so this was not going to be good. Ukrainian player, his dad is drone director for the Ukrainian military. All right. They're fighting for their lives against Russia. Now, if you'll recall, we're all Team Ukraine. Or I don't know. I haven't met any Team Russia people, but I think it's safe to say we're all supporting the Ukrainians. Well, there's this unbelievable Russian, and I think Kim got it in her mind that, you know what, these girls are 17, 18. I mean, this 17-year-old Russian, you see this in tennis. They can't help where they're born. It's not like she's out fighting a war and, hey, we're going to bring her in. We're going to let her play for us. And hopefully this will be a nice story. Well, it didn't end up being a nice story because the Ukrainian woman, the young Ukrainian girl said, I'm out. Can't do it. So this has caused a big storm. And, okay, Will Wade is about a half a crook. All right, their basketball coach. Kiffin is whatever Kiffin is. All right. He's just like a professional wrestling type guy. He's always. Kim Mulkey is the most recognizable women's coach. She's kind of seen as a villain in college basketball. I mean, I'm friends with her, so I don't really see her as a villain, but whatever. That's the situation. This is Mulkey's statement. Kate came to see me. This is the Ukrainian girl. Kate, young woman. Kate, oh, thanks, Kev. I don't think we could talk about this story without a Ukrainian flag. And you see some of these flying at car dealerships. I mean, we're behind the Ukrainians. All right, we are Team Ukraine here. So Kate, the Ukrainian, came to see me, and that's not what she said. But anyway, I'm saying that. Kate came to see me on Sunday and told me that after much consideration, she will be leaving the program for personal reasons. We will respect her privacy on her decision, but we had a long talk about it, and it was a hard decision for her. I know it's hard because she loves LSU. Kate is a great person. She has to do what she feels is right for her, and we fully support her in that. We all wish her the best. Russia invaded Ukraine 2022. The two countries have been fighting a war ever since. Last year, the coach said the team had changed the name of their Russian rebounding drill to the Ukraine rebounding drill after a request from Koval. Okay. Now for Kim, that's good because Kim's not someone who changes much. All right. But while Mulkey did not confirm whether or not adding the Russian-born Maneva was the reason for Koval's departure, she knew this could be an uncomfortable situation. Mulkey said she had a conversation before she started recruiting Maneva with Koval about it. She said, I want you to understand I'm not here to ask you to change how you feel about Russia. Mulkey recalls telling Koval, per NOLA.com, I'm just here out of respect for your family and out of respect for you to let you know, because I know how personal it is for you. Know that what I have to do in this business, I cannot make a decision to not recruit somebody that can help our program because of a conflict between two countries. Well, yes, you can. Then I would, and by the way, I would tell Kim that. Certainly.
So you can change the name of a drill.
Yeah.
But you can't stay away from a certain recruit.
Correct.
And so that kind of kills my theory that she wasn't aware of the situation. She should have been blatantly aware of the situation. This would cause a problem.
Oh, very much aware. Very much aware. But you have to understand Kim. Kim almost embraces backlash and any kind of conflict. I mean, so I don't think she's not going to do something because she thinks it could be a potential conflict. Now, here's the rest of that story, Kevin. Here's what she had hoped would be the case. She had hoped that Koval and Maneva could be, quote, ambassadors for it says KINDSHIP, kindship. I don't even really know that word. And suggested that, quote, you never know, perhaps the two players as teammates could help end the war. Yeah. I mean, that's, this thing is too deep-seated and too for a couple of basketball players. But again, I know what she was getting at. Maybe this would have been a nice symbolic. I'm sure everybody would have done stories on this. College basketball, ESPN, they would have enjoyed doing some type of story on this. Oh, this is funny, Kevin. Mulkey says, and I guess when she made this point to Koval, the Ukrainian, she said, and she just kind of smiled and said, I doubt that, Mulkey recounted. Koval played for Notre Dame her freshman year. 6'5" center, started 17 games last year for the Tigers, 8.3 points and 6.3 rebounds per game. Koval still has 2 seasons of eligibility remaining, but since the transfer portal is not currently open, Koval will likely have to wait until April to join a new team. What a bummer. And, the thing is, Kevin, I think probably there's part of Koval who probably loves her teammates, maybe even doesn't necessarily just hate the new Russian player. But I get it. It's like, to her, if her dad's over there literally launching drones and fighting for Ukraine, can she be over here making nice and doing all the nice stories and being friendly with a Russian-born player? I get it, man. And I think Kim is respectful, and maybe Kim was being a bit naive here, or maybe a lot naive in thinking that she could somehow kind of work this out and this would be a nice story. Now, let me also tell you what this tells me, Kevin. If Kim is willing to lose the Ukrainian starting center over this, Kevin, that should tell you what you need to know. That should tell you that this Russian is big, big, big time. All right. Now, who knows? Maybe she'll get out there and she won't fulfill her promise. I don't know. But Kevin, what I read about her and what I hear about her, whoa. I think we've got potentially a big time young star in college basketball. Right away, maybe not. Maybe it'll take a little while. But Kevin, the bigs, if you get a great one, think about like the Betts at UCLA, Lauren Betts, the big 6'7" girl that used to be at Oregon that came to TCU, the big 6'7" player who I think may still be at South Carolina right now, the big girl who was at Iowa State and she's gone somewhere else now. I can't remember where she went. You know, the Iowa State girl that's such a she's kind of, you know, tall and, you know, got a lot of weight on the bones there. That's probably a nicer way to put that, but she's a big woman.
I was enjoying watching you sort of figure that one out.
You know,
he backed down an alley, and now he's got to figure out how to get through that one.
Well, I mean, you know, if you've seen her play, you know what I'm talking about. She's really good, and she's a large woman. Kevin, Kansas State had Ayoka. I think her name was Ayoka, big 6'7". So I'm just saying, if you get somebody like that, it can be a very dominant situation. All right. Baylor used to have two of them. One time they won a national title with Lauren Cox and PJ's daughter, PJ, the former NBA player, Kalani. What was PJ's last name? PJ. Anyway, Scotty or one of our guys will tell me. It is the Mosley Show. Man, we are off and running today. We've gone 35 minutes without even taking a breath. Stephen Simcox, my longtime partner in crime, longtime producer, great friend. He is also a noted TCU insider, and we could talk a little bit about how Sonny likes to take the sharp stick and take it to Texas Tech, and they're not even playing this year because the Big 12 can't really figure out the schedule. They need to let the Texas schools and Oklahoma State, the core group, keep playing every year, all right, and then rotate the rest of them. It's not that hard. I could have figured it out for you guys. All right, let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's do it next.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
David Willey here. I got a question for you. How do you know what kind of deal you're getting on your copier? If you really want to know, give me a call and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. CTWP, your only local copier company.
You asked, we delivered. The new Butterfly iQ3. It's the answer in point-of-care ultrasound. With the sharpest image, for easier, clear answers. Ready?
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabins, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Westfest, presented by West Feeds, this Labor Day weekend. Ramby Rogers Band, live at the Saturday Night Showcase. With special guests, Brave Cumabo and the Dreadnoughts. Westfest, just 15 minutes north of Waco.
Score big on your next ride during the Kickoff the Savings event at Richard Carr. 2027 GMC Sierra trucks are coming, so all 2026 models are marked with game-winning savings at Richard Carr. Find savings like $10,000 off a 2026 GMC Sierra SLE truck. Plus, well-qualified buyers get 2.9% financing for 72 months. Find championship savings and win on your next deal at their Kickoff the Savings event at Richard Carr.
Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Right in the heart of Waco, there's a place Texas pride meets world-class flavor. The Dancing Bear Pub, open 7 days a week, 4 to 11, and offering happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 6. Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursdays is $1 off Texas Pints. A great place to meet up with family, friends, or make new friends. Kick back and soak in the laid-back vibe that keeps Waco coming back for more. Located at 1117 Spade Avenue, Dancing Bear Pub in Waco, where great beer and good company come together.
Hi, it's the Mosley Show, and I was just putting out there, Kevin, that we were live. As I like our Twitter audience, boy, sad news coming out of the entertainment world, Kevin. Dolly Parton. I'm sure you've seen that, Kev. Wow.
I did see that just a little bit ago. Scotty actually let us know that on here. Scotty B.
What?
Scotty B let us know that.
That is rough.
That's sad, yep.
How old was she?
I think she's 80 years old.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And she's been struggling, getting out and about, and she's postponed a few things recently, but her statement has always been she's kind of gonna get back, but apparently not. That's a rough one.
Yeah, I'd say apparently not, Kevin. Yeah, just reading this. And she was, they call her a cultural icon. and I will say, and Kevin, we might have a few more comments later. I want to do some Campus Confidential, but she was someone who just was able to walk that line of unbelievable country singer, beyond talented. There's one song that is her song that Whitney Houston sang, I Will Always Love You. And Whitney just, that was unbelievable. But I love hearing Dolly sing it too. But Dolly, she just kind of transcended everything. And what was kind of cool about her is you couldn't put her in a box. Like, she never let them, I'd like to, maybe, she was Southern, and she looked and sounded, and then she was in movies and all this, but she was like kind of, even though she was known for her looks and certain things about her body and all that, she also had this like incredible like dignity about her.
Yeah.
At the same time, and even when she would go on Carson when I was a kid, and Kevin Carson, you're probably a little bit young for the Carson show, but yeah, if any of us, you grew up with your grandparents, hanging out with your grandparents and stuff, you were watching the Carson show every night because all of America was watching it. And when she would be on there, but what I was getting at is Kevin, she never, everybody feels like they have to be drawn in on like political stuff and like make a statement for this. Oh, well, she's country music artist, she must think like this. And the truth is, she was so great at just kind of loving everybody and kind of refusing to ever do all that stuff. Like, where it's like, oh, this person endorses this person or this person believes in it. It's like, no, it's kind of like Willie Nelson, right? It was so funny to me a few years ago when people were like, some conservatives got mad. What's Willie doing supporting this person? And you're like, oh, did you think Willie Nelson did you think pot smoking Willie Nelson was like some kind of huge conservative all your life? Like, what do you? But people like Willie and Dolly sort of transcended any sort of political divisiveness and all that stuff. They were just born to entertain. So anyway, that's a sad, sad day because I would say they don't get much bigger in country music and just being just a fun personality. And by the way, Kev, she was extremely talented. I think she had such a vivacious, funny personality that sometimes was maybe got in the way of the music a little bit. But I got to see her in person at the Cowboys Thanksgiving game a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so that was a neat moment to be able to say, hey, I saw Dolly. And
how many solo albums do you think she has released in her lifetime? Take a guess.
Dolly Parton.
And of course, this isn't including some of the stuff she did with Kenny or with Porter Wagner or the things that she has written. How many solo records did she release?
25.
49. 49 solo records just by herself, not including all the other stuff that she wrote for other people or the duet albums that she did. It's crazy.
And even through it all, Dollywood and, having amusement park, just everything
and
she did.
Just last year, they opened up her own version of Buc-ee's, like her, convenience store gas station there.
Yeah. And, Kev, she was married a long time and he just completely under the radar. Mm-hmm. Like people didn't even know what he looked like.
Nope.
And he was extremely important to her. And I think they had a very successful and happy marriage. But it was probably partly because he just was totally fine with her having the entire spotlight. And you don't always find people like that in marriages, right? Where they're
it's kind of like you and your wife, right?
Shoot, my wife has more spotlight than I do. You should, yeah. By the way, you come here to Dallas, you would know that, Kevin. It's like I'm Meredith Mosley's husband. I promise you that. And by the way, my wife was an actress and has been in musicals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, she does not. She is not in any kind of shadows or no shrinking violet. I promise you that. Okay, Kev, let's do some Campus Confidential. What do you have for me?
All right. So the first question has to do with who do you think won this initial battle with NFL players not playing in college? Was it the Big Ten or was it SEC?
Oh,
Was it the SEC and their statement, or was it the Big
Oh,
Ten?
the battle. If there was a battle, I mean, it was easy. Big Ten, CF smart. Big Ten let the SEC kind of jump out there, and SEC wanted to be first. We're going to take a stand. Hey, we don't think this is right. Because, of course, SEC had it happening at LSU. Two of these NFL players were going to go to Daquan and what's the other guy's name? Xavion, I think it is. They're going to play for LSU. They used to be at Ole Miss. They've been on NFL teams. One of them had actually played in a couple of these guys have played in preseason games. And so the SEC puts out a statement. And I love the comments on these because there's somebody that'll be like, oh, good for the SEC. And then quickly, Kevin, the cynics in us, and I'm among that group, was immediately like doing those memes where it's like, you check the list to do nothing. I like that meme where you just you check the list and the words say do nothing. That's what the SEC. Let's just put out a statement, but let's not do anything. And see, this allowed the Big Ten to come in off the top rope and go, no, we're all going to vote, and we're gonna have a league rule, and we're not going to allow this to happen. And there's some precedents for this because the Big Ten, and I'm not saying they crushed him with it, but at least they did come in and did something to Jim Harbaugh when the cheating scandal was happening, right? They did make him sit down for two or three games.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I thought the funniest part about the SEC statement was the fact that they talked about this will begin to blur the lines between professional and collegiate sports. And I'm like, begin to? Like, those lines were blurred a long time ago. As soon as you introduced NIL in the portal, those lines were already blurred. And so I'm not sure that there's anything. And the other part I was thinking about too was there is a strange issue right now, but this is all due to a new ruling, which is allowing players who were not aware of this ruling to do this. This wouldn't be a perpetual problem moving forward. Am I correct in that? Because you'll know that you have 5 years. So you're not going to go test it and come back.
Oh, but Kevin, I mean, yes, but also we keep being surprised by what people get away with in court. And these TROs, the Sorsby thing was crazy. So let's not shut the door forever on there potentially being a 6-year player, a 7th-year player, something like that. Like these things, you can race to court, and if you can find a friendly court, you can go find something. But to your point, yes, this should be the final time. So putting in a rule is not really that big of a deal, but I kind of like it. I kind of like the symbolic nature of, SEC is going to put out a statement. We're actually going to put up a roadblock. Now, Kevin, guess who can be sued? Not just the state court injunctions, or not just the NCAA, who are constantly being sued. Kevin, you can sue one of these conferences. So just because the Big Ten does this doesn't mean somebody can't haul them into court.
Yep.
They know that. They know that.
All right.
Big 12. I like the ACC. We're going to talk about this. None of these guys are trying to go to the ACC. What else do you have, sir?
Who do you think is the most surprising on this list of QB announcements? Several schools have started to make their announcements of who their starting QB is going to be. Who do you think is most surprising, and who do you think, on the contrary, might have the greatest chance for success?
I remember the kid from Georgia Tech that is starting for Florida. I think they're going to surround him with an unbelievable running back. He certainly had his moments at Georgia Tech. I'm not saying he was great. So that combination interests me. I think Keelan Russell is extremely talented. I think there's a pretty good chance that he's the best quarterback, at least to start this season. At least for this season, I think he's probably the most talented guy. All right, Keelan Russell at Alabama. Arkansas has a very typical Arkansas kind of guy. The guy who just left there, who was extremely gifted from an athletic standpoint. This is what Arkansas is most comfortable with. Is KJ Jackson. This guy does what was a guy just left there, Tavon something. Whoever their last quarterback was very Talon
Green.
Yeah. So KJ's a good fit for them is what I'm getting at.
Talon is now one of the many Browns quarterbacks.
Yeah. Which is that's an S show. Two that I'm very interested in. I thought Vandy might go with the young guy. They went with a guy that's a little more experienced. I thought Vandy had a shot. I think they have a talented young guy on the roster. I don't know. I don't really know much about Berlowitz or whatever. So keep your eye on that situation. That Tennessee kid is very talented, but I think he's a true freshman. Faison Brandon. That's a guy to keep a pretty close eye on, Kev, because Tennessee's got talent. They're going to surround him with pretty good linemen, pretty good receiving core. That kid can play a little bit. Now,
Jared Curtis is the guy from Vanderbilt you're probably talking about.
Yeah. I think Jared Curtis might be the starter pretty quickly there. But they, for whatever reason, sometimes coaches they want a little more. It's kind of like Baylor a few years ago. They paid that money to the MAC quarterback, DeQuan Finn. Well, 2 or 3 games into the season, Sawyer Robertson was a starter, and then by the next season, Sawyer was one of the better quarterbacks in the country. But DeQuan Finn was, that ended up being a disaster. I know Aiden Childs because I watched him at Michigan State a little bit. He does have some ability. I don't know what Northwestern has, if anything. I do think. I find because their old coach is at Michigan State, so all that's kind of interesting to me. Kev, I was looking it up this very morning, not even knowing you were going to do this. I was studying a little bit of this Egett.
He's coming over with his coach too, right?
At Duke.
Or offensive coordinator at San Jose State, something like that I saw.
Yeah, this guy certainly put up. We've seen players come from the New Mexico states, the Washington states, the San Jose states of the world, put up big numbers, and it works out okay. Remember, he's replacing Darian Mensah, who was sued by Duke. Duke, the defending, as big a joke as it is, the defending ACC champ. So, let me say this, Kev, of those guys we just talked about, best situations to step into. Alabama, 1. Tennessee, 2. Duke, 3. And then the guy at Vandy. All right. And I just don't care much about Nebraska's guy will be about exactly what we think he'll be. They'll win 7, 8 games. Really, it won't amount to anything. None of these guys really do that much for me. Other than that, Arkansas's quarterback will be fun. Arkansas could be much improved this year under its new coach and still go 3-9 with that schedule.
Yeah,
I think
that
5-7 would be like unbelievable for Arkansas.
Yeah, I think that the returning quarterbacks have the best shot. That's I think the more time you spend in a system, it just benefits you. So I agree. Keelan Russell is probably has the best shot. But I'm surprised. I thought, you led off with Florida. I thought you'd say that Aaron Philo had, was at least top 3 there. So.
Oh, I did. Did I not say Florida at the end? I missed
Alabama,
Florida at
Tennessee,
the end.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That my eyes were immediately drawn to Florida and Philo, and that's why I led with them. So I accidentally left them off. But I like the combination of the new coach, the talent. Like I said, especially at running back, they got one of the best running backs in the country. And Philo. Yeah. Because he does have a little experience coming from Georgia Tech, and they had success there. But the problem is he got behind a good quarterback. I think they had Haynes King. Where's Haynes now? Is he in the NFL? Haynes.
I think so.
I think he is. Yeah. All right, Kev. Good stuff.
He's with the Panthers now. So
good. Oh, okay. Good stuff, man.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
You have to come back tomorrow for returning quarterback QBR. And there might be a surprising person at the top.
DJ Lagway. All right. Let's have Steven Simcox joins us next.
I have a lot of friends reach out to me about buying vehicles for their fleet and their business, and I always recommend Allen Samuels. You see a lot of businesses running different brands, but I really think Rams are the best looking ones out there. They're going to take care of you. They're going to make sure that you get what you need, and they're always going to take care of you on the service side and the sales side. Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Hey, Lee Riley Copier Dog here. Ready for an upgrade on a brand new Kia Sierra copier? Call CTWP. We'll find the perfect fit for your business. Stay local. Call CTWP before you sign. CTWP, your local copier company.
It's the 50th annual West Best presented by West Feeds this Labor Day weekend. Catch the West Best parade on Saturday, run the Kolache 5K Sunday morning, cheer on the Horseshoe Tournament, or test your strength in the Steinholding Contest. West Best, just 15 minutes north of Waco.
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabins, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
Score big on your next ride during the Kickoff the Savings event at Richard Car. Score your biggest savings of the year right now on Buick. Get a 3-row 2026 Buick Enclave and save $8,500. Or non-GM owners can save $6,750 on all 2026 Buick Envisions in stock. Get here now or go online and save thousands on Buick at Richard Car. Find championship savings and win on your next deal at their Kickoff the Savings event at Richard Car.
At Richard Car, we give you more.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip.
If you get a call saying they're going to lock you in jail for missing jury duty unless you pay a fine, that's fake. Scammers use scare tactics to force you to act without thinking. Just hang up the phone.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
It's the Mosley Show. It's with heavy hearts we come to you today. We've lost the great Dolly Parton. It just doesn't even seem possible. All right. I mean, she's 80, so I guess it was possible, but she just seemed like somebody we'd have around a lot longer. And it's tough. It's tough out here. So that's a rough day. It's a rough day on that hand. And so on days with a heavy heart and that kind of thing, I reach out to people that I'm close to. And one of those, of course, is Stephen Simcox, TCU insider, great friend, longtime member of the Mosley Show family, man that likes being on the mic. And guy always has some nice artwork behind him, no matter where he is. It's just, that could be an original, kind of a Jackson Pollock back there behind him. Stephen, on this sad day, I guess you've seen the news. Dolly has left us for that big rhinestone in the sky. And that's tough, man. How are you taking the news? Welcome to the show. I hope you can lift my spirits.
I was surprised to see that news. I feel like Dolly's one of the few people in our world today that kind of unites everybody, Matt. I mean, I'm seeing people from all walks of life here online celebrating her life and who she was and her music. So that's good to see. But yeah, very sad news that she passed away. I didn't expect that at all. So I'm sorry you're having to soldier on in the show here, despite knowing that, Matt.
Yeah, I appreciate you being there for me. As a youngster, Stephen, my dad never stopped teasing me about it. I probably at too young of an age, the Murray family, Paul David Murray dropped Matt Murray and I off up at the Plaza Theater in Kaufman, Texas, in about 1980 or 81. I would have been about 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old, about 9, whatever. And to see the movie 9 to 5, starring Jane Fonda. So my dad, from that day on, would tease me about being a big Dolly Parton fan, but yeah, it was that was probably a little early for that style of movie. Dabney Coleman probably was a little rough language in that, and Dolly certainly was known for her looks and curves to a certain extent. So anyway, but you know how that is, Stephen, when your parents get one over on you like that, they do tend to hold it over your head for a lot of years. And so lots of 9 to 5 jokes over the years.
The first, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie was the first PG-13 movie my dad took me to. And I don't think I was quite 13. I was probably 10, and I begged my dad to take me. And then he never let me forget that I got pretty scared when the Green Goblin came out there. And I decided that wasn't for me. So I made him drag me up there to the Galaxy Theater in Waco, and then we had to leave a little early because I couldn't handle the scary scenes in the Spider-Man movie.
Well, when they put that Galaxy in, that was pretty, because we were pretty limited in our options for a lot of years.
Yep.
Had that one off Lake Air. You'd have to go out to Belmead and see something. And they put that Galaxy in out there kind of in what used to feel like a field out in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't, I guess it's not anymore, but like, I think I saw the Horse Whisperer there. I saw He Got Game. This was like law school era about that time, but yeah, boy, Jesus Shuttlesworth. Yeah, that was pretty good. what have you been up to, man? Are you getting excited for college football? Like I feel like your TCU Horned Frogs are like one of the real mystery teams, and they're sort of borderline top 25. And then I'm getting vibes that this Jaden Craig, the quarterback from Harvard, I mean, obviously Sonny took some pokes at Hoover on as he went to Indiana. And I think he felt, I don't know if he felt bad about that or not, but he kind of, and then our buddy at Indiana hit him back a little bit with what he was going to do, what he was going to put around Hoover. And Signetti is very funny and he's very cocky. I like both those coaches though. Sonny is cocky in a different sort of way. It's not quite as overt as Signetti, but it's just interesting. I guess, okay, there's a lot of different ways to go there, but let's start with Jaden Craig. I do sense that Sonny, I'm sure they had to kind of, I mean, that's a weird thing to do, is like, okay, let's turn our team over to an Ivy League quarterback. But once they got him on campus and got him in the spring and started kind of watching his leadership, I quietly sort of am starting to kind of think TCU, what Sonny really wants to come out and say is we've upgraded at quarterback. Now, he doesn't want to complete, and he knows that's a swipe at Hoover, but I think he thinks it's true. Is that also kind of what you're hearing and thinking is going through Sonny's mind?
I think that's fair. I feel like he is really excited about the change in identity they've made this offseason. I mean, Kendall Briles, whether it was the personnel he had, or I guess Sonny decided eventually, Matt, it was his play calling. They just did not run the football very effectively the last couple of years, and you would hear Sonny talk about it from time to time. Yeah, we need to do a better job of it. We need to make it a priority. We have to be more physical, but it wasn't happening, and so they end up parting ways. And honestly, I think both the Jaden Craig transfer from Harvard and hiring Gordon Sammies from UConn was pretty out of left field because it didn't really mesh with what Sonny's done his whole career, which is kind of stay in the air raid family for the most part. And like most coaches do, has been around other coaches that share his philosophy and kind of share his background. So they're moving on to an offensive coordinator who is really known for taking care of the football. He's mentioned multiple times that he didn't appreciate the turnovers over the last few years. Josh was kind of a gunslinger, right? He liked to throw the ball around. He wanted to make plays. And sometimes in those games, he was turning the ball over and putting the defense in bad situations. They've used all these buzzwords about like complementary football, kind of changing who they are. And so I think Jaden Craig's a big part of that. One thing that Jaden didn't do a lot at Harvard that I also feel like they're going to use is his mobility. I mean, he wasn't somebody who ran the ball a lot at Harvard. And what we've kind of heard is basically the Harvard coaching staff told him, hey, we need you to play and we can't have you running around and getting hit and getting hurt. But he's a big physical player. He's 6'4". He's like stands around 220, 225. So he definitely looks the part. And I agree with you. I mean, I have questions about this is a big step up, obviously, in competition from going from the Ivy League to, Power 4 football every week. But at the same time, there were draft guys. Mel Kiper had him as like a day 2, day 3 pick. If he decided to make the jump this year to the NFL, he chose to use the portal as an opportunity to give himself some more film and let people see him on a bigger stage. And I think TCU is excited about what he can do and just a different philosophy on offense that is more centered around, controlling the clock, moving the chains on the ground, and not making silly mistakes, because for all the explosive plays they had over the last few years, they also had just, I don't think the details were always there. And it hurt them at times in games where they would play teams like BYU last year in Provo, where they just looked like they were completely outclassed, or getting upset by Iowa State, in the middle of the season. There were just losses like that they're trying to trying to fix so they can be a contender once again in the Big 12 title race.
I was hoping when you brought up Sammy's, you would recall that was a Mosley story that kind of surprised some TCU people when I was able to break that news. I think they wondered why in the world I'd be poking around on that. And I can't reveal how I knew that one, but I did know that was coming. I also was going to break the Baylor defensive coordinator thing, and I agreed to hold off a little bit, Stephen. And I was reminded of a valuable lesson. If you sometimes, even if you're kind and say you'll hold off a little bit, that gives somebody enough time to tip off Pete Thamel, that something is going to happen. So sometimes you just have to go ahead and get something out there. The Sonny Dykes is interesting because I think Sonny, and I understand why he's doing it, I think he's pushing back on this narrative that he could be, that the program's kind of in a weird spot, because I think one thing he uses to push back is, hey, we've got 18 wins in like 2 years. And I'm sure what the next part of that is, and he's right. Like Baylor would kill for that right now, right? There's other places that would kind of kill for that. But I think the problem for him is he had that immediate success, has that unbelievable season, and they really haven't sniffed that since. They haven't been horrible. They haven't been great. Is he on like what? Maybe not a hot seat, but kind of like the tepid, to kind of a lukewarm seat. What's Sonny's seat going into the season? I don't think it's as scorching as Dave Aranda's, but it's not a cold seat.
No, I wouldn't say it's a cold seat. I think if this year doesn't go well, if they get off to a really bad start, then there's going to be some real questions. You laid it out there pretty well. Like, they've been competitive, but they haven't really been a team that you would consider a factor in a title race, a playoff race. And, I think too, Matt, like one issue that Big 12 coaches might be experiencing right now is I feel like ever since Oklahoma and Texas left, everybody feels like they should be playing in Arlington every year. Like it kind of remains to be seen what Texas Tech does now with, they've obviously made some big strides with NIL and everything that they're doing from a revenue sharing standpoint, but the league sort of feels wide open. And I think the other side of that is everybody's like, well, why can't we be the team that kind of surprises everybody and competes at a high level and ends up winning 10 games? The last couple of years, TCU's closed the season strong. They did that again. They beat USC in the Alamo Bowl in a pretty cool way. Jeremy Payne had a touchdown catch on, a third down to basically get like a walk-off victory, and that was a fun moment. But they haven't been, at the forefront of the discussion when we're talking about the playoff like they were in that first season that he was there. So I think that seat's lukewarm. It is interesting, though, because I think in some ways he bought himself some time with the moves he made this offseason, because as I said earlier, like they're changing a lot. They've got a lot of moving parts. And I wonder if part of that from his point of view was, well, hey, I need to, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm doing some new things. I'm going to need some time to sort of see how this works and figure it out and have the best way to go about it. And I'd also point out, he told you this, Matt, at Media Days and some others, he's made it pretty clear he doesn't feel like TCU being they have totally bought into this new era of college football. And I know they spend a lot of money to retain players, but he's told multiple people like, hey, we're playing with a lot less of a payroll than our friends in Lubbock, right? Or BYU or something like that. And it's been interesting to kind of see him, I think, this offseason lay out some of those things where it feels like he's sort of tempering expectations in a way and maybe giving himself a chance to point to something if everything doesn't come together exactly right and say, well, hey, we really got to buy into this new world of college sports if we're going to be able to compete at a high level with everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, and then when he told me that, we put it out there, and then James Blanchard from Tech responded to it. I was saying earlier, Tech's got to kind of get past that. I mean, if they want to be the villains, embrace it and be the villains.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that the yippee stuff out of Baylor and especially out of Sonny still bugs them. It bugs them that there's a belief out there that they've just sort of bought their way to the table. And what I always say is, like, I wish Baylor had bought its way to the table. If these were the allegations against Baylor, I'd be fine with it. Like, I mean, I'm jealous of what they've done to a certain extent. And so, but they kind of want it both ways. They want to be the villains, but then also be respected, like, for doing it the right way or something. It's like, what is the right way now? I mean, there's no problem with having a billionaire and having him fund the deal if that's what you want to do. But you can't sort of act like, oh, no, all these people are wrong, because it comes across as like, no, we don't have $38 million roster. It's only 32 million or something. It's like, come on, guys. But Sonny, I would say Sonny's more calculating than people realize, to your point. Like, I think I don't know how to articulate this exactly. He does feel a connection to Tech because of his dad, obviously. And he likes getting the sharp stick out. And of course, it's easier doing it in a year where you don't have to play them, right? But he does like getting under their skin. I find it interesting. I don't know what that's all about, other than reminding his own fan base, we don't have the resources right now. This is not a total fair fight. I do like what he's saying about trying to be the best team in the conference, sort of at retaining talent. That's I mean, if you're going to be known for something, that's not that bad to be. And he's told what he said to me, and you know this to be true or not. He's like, we've only had like, I think the number was like 3. I think what he's getting at is people that have left that have gone on to be starters elsewhere. They don't have a ton of those guys. Is that accurate? Does TCU now Hoover becomes a big name that has left to go be possibly a star at Indiana? Has that held true over the past 4 years for Sonny, that they haven't had a lot of guys go on and become big time starters elsewhere?
It's accurate. I think the problem with him saying that, and I don't really feel like the nationwide audience knows this, but Josh Hoover is one of those guys they lost. And then Dominic Williams, big defensive lineman, went to Oklahoma a few off seasons ago. And I would say those have arguably been their 2 best players over the last 3 or 4 years. So it's like they haven't lost big numbers, but the star guys that they wanted to keep, I'm not sure they were able to keep. And I think part of the reason that he took shots at Josh on his way out was they did, from my knowledge, they made a competitive offer. Like it wasn't, Indiana didn't just money whip him to get him to move over. I think it was Josh looking at it and saying, well, my offensive coordinator's gone, and that guy just produced a Heisman Trophy winner who's going to be the first pick in the NFL draft and won a national title. I don't feel like I can do things like that here. And so he took his opportunity elsewhere. And I think that really bothers Sonny, that apples to apples, he kind of looked at it and said, well, I'm going to go to the place where I feel like I have the best chance to win. And that wasn't TCU. And, in fairness, like with what Indiana did last season, there's really not a comparison with anybody, but still, I feel like it really bothered him that they couldn't keep him in the fold for one more season.
Isn't that interesting to see Gary Patterson, defensive coordinator at USC? It's a very rare thing. It's not rare for a guy to get another chance, like as a head coach, and he kind of wanted that, and it didn't really work out. It'd be interesting to see what he would have done at the University of Houston. Willie's doing a very nice job at Houston, but that's that'll be interesting. I think Gary liked the idea of poking at TCU while helping Baylor briefly and helping UT, back when they were still in the same conference. Like, I think he kind of liked that. I think he's kind of, now that he's in a TCU Hall of Fame, now he's in College Football Hall of Fame, some of the petty feelings he has toward TCU, they won't all go away. Like, I'm not sure he and the AD or the new AD, maybe they've had a meeting of the minds. I don't know, but it does seem like some of that has calmed down. But that'll be interesting, won't it, to watch Gary to see what he puts together at USC. Because I think Gary's mentality is he's always, even after all those years and all that success at TCU, he still needs to prove it. He still needs to. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame now, but there's still part of him that's like, they did me wrong. They shoved me out the door. I got to show them. I got to show them that I can still do this.
I think that's accurate. I also feel like, it'll be intriguing to see what he's learned over the past few seasons, because he talked about when we had him on the show when he was going to Texas, he was like, this is a chance for me to really take a year to kind of scout another coaching staff to a certain extent and see what they do and how they go about meetings and how they go about recruiting and those types of things. So I wonder what wrinkles he's put in his defense, because we haven't seen him call plays in a while. But I would argue, and I don't know if Gary would agree with this, I think from just like a pure talent standpoint, he's probably coaching with some of the most talent he ever has, because USC, it hasn't worked on the field defensively for them yet, but Lincoln Riley has been able to bring in like 4-star, 5-star type of players on that side of the football. So seeing those guys compete in a defense that was kind of designed to, maybe help where there were some deficiencies. If you don't have those deficiencies from a physical talent standpoint, I'm very excited to see what Gary does. And this, Matt, like that guy having tunnel vision on just focusing on a defensive scheme and scouting other offenses, the potential there on paper seems really intriguing. Like, I think he's going to come out and do some really cool things in the Big Ten.
Doesn't that sound weird? The Big Ten.
It does, yeah.
USC. Okay, what can we watch? By the way, do you find yourself, before I get to this, because I want to kind of find out what you're doing this season. I was checking out earlier the Frog Factor channel and just kind of want to see what you're up to. But like, don't you feel like the Wings robbed us all of, like, and trying to create the back, it's like they drafted somebody that was dating their point guard and whatever. Again, that's fine. It was just, and then they didn't want to talk about it, right? Oh, no, don't ask that. Okay, well, and they passed up the great Olivia Miles from TCU, who was like playing right up the road. Like, if they had turned on one of those Baylor TCU games, maybe the one where Baylor just decided not to cover her. Oh, let's let her shoot. Oh, wait, she just hit 7 straight threes. Maybe we need to guard her. Like, how can you watch somebody like that amazing and then go, let's go with Fudd out of UConn? Do you feel like the Wings sort of robbed us of some fun, because now Olivia plays for the Lynx, I believe, and we don't care about the Lynx. The Lynx don't do anything for us. In fact, the Lynx, they don't even put them on TV. They don't allow their games. I don't think that's true. But I can't find Lynx games. I feel like this is and then, by the way, this is a Mosley. I think I was calling the Wings out. Kevin will attest to this, before anybody else, for even the night they made the pick. I thought this was bad. How do you? I just feel like they didn't care about us as a DFW market.
It would be fun to see them both play together. I've heard the line that they, not the Wings necessarily give, but I guess people that defend it by saying, well, they both need the ball in their hands a lot. Well, I think they could have figured it out. Move Paige to the 2 guard and let Olivia run the point and see what fun you could have with those two running around and making plays. But yeah, I've been amazed, Matt. I mean, I feel like I'm not sure if it's just, I know the Lynx are the 1 seed right now and they're playing really well. I'm not sure if it's just because that team's so loaded. I feel like arguably she's been better, in the WNBA, and she was great at TCU. I mean, she was an All-American type of player, but I mean, she's talking like there's chatter about her being in the MVP discussion. And I feel like every other night I see her making threes or making some crazy pass. And she has amazing vision. And like you saw that at TCU, you saw nights where she would just take over games. But it does feel like she's somehow taking it to another level. And man, it would have been incredible to see. And I think Dallas, they got to hope, Matt, right, that they don't end up in like that 8 seed and they have to play Minnesota in round 1, because that would just kind of be the ultimate sort of ending to at least this chapter of it. If the Lynx like sweep them and Olivia has a great series and they just have to, go home after passing her up on that number 1 pick.
Yeah, that coach at TCU right now, he's getting under my skin, because I like him and he's kind of fun. You should have seen me trying to get him on. I had to go into, some of those people that move in from wherever he was, Sacramento State or Oregon or whatever, they don't care. The Mosley name means nothing to them. If you've been around the Metroplex or Texas, I can kind of maybe use my radio days to lure you in. And boy, you could tell the SID at TCU, they're like, I don't know who these people are. And so I stepped up, Stephen. I said something like, I think we'll get 50,000 views if Mark comes on. Now, I don't know if I've delivered on that or not, but it was very funny. Like I was either copied on an email or they accidentally said it in front of me. But it was a funny moment where the PR person tells Campbell, like, while I can still hear, well, this guy's promising us 50,000 views, so we might as well try this. Like they basically said that in front of me.
I'll have to talk with people there. Everybody should know the Mosley name. I think
you.
even in the Pacific Northwest, they know about Matt.
Campbell, at some point, he lived on the same street or something as Kevin Hall. My producer here on the Mosley Show. Yeah, so we also kind of had that card to play. But Kevin at some point has lived by everybody you can imagine. If you name it, it's like, wait, Kevin lived next to them in Sugar Land. Then he lived next to some people in Indiana. He's had a very storied and interesting background. Okay, that was good. Oh, bring us up to date. Like, are you doing Frog? Are you on the Frog Factor channel, or what's going on this year? Or are you just not gonna podcast? What are you thinking you might do this season?
Yeah, Frog Factor's going to make its return.
Nice.
We'll have some post game after Saturday. Have you been to Ireland, Matt? That's not a place that I've been to. Have you been to Ireland before?
I'm a big Scottish guy. I've been to Scotland, but I really do want to see Ireland. But I haven't actually been over there. That sounds like something you and the family would have enjoyed. Is a trip to Ireland. For this game.
Check out the game. Yep.
Yeah. By the way, what time will this be on? And have you looked to see? I guess this game will be on ESPN, or do we know?
Yes, it's ESPN. I believe it's an 11 a.m. kick, but I can.
Oh, 11 a.m. That means it's like.
Yeah, 11 a.m. like 5 p.m. their time, I believe.
5 their time, 11 a.m.
60 degrees at kickoff, Matt.
Ooh, that'll be fun. Gosh, I do not, it's not easy for me to root for TCU ever, but Stephen, in this game, I'd love to see them think about that. Think about if they just put hang half 100 on them, as Switzer used to say. I mean, that guy could get fired within 3 or 4 games this year. I mean, the way that thing's going, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, all the distractions there, and the Lombardi being under this investigation, suspension situation, I feel like an embarrassment on national television would go a long way in ending that experiment.
Okay. Anything else? So the Frog Factor channel? Now from Apple, is this YouTube? Where can we find you on that?
YouTube, man. And Matt, you've become a big believer in YouTube. You're the YouTube guy now. When we first met, really. I wouldn't say you were a YouTube guy, but now you are.
I'm still not very YouTube friendly, and I'd rather, but yeah. I mean, what really, and Stephen, as you know this now from doing all the stuff you've done, like it really comes down to, did I at some point in this 2 hours, and we used to do 3 hours, Stephen, during freaking COVID with no games, right? But like, did I say something that was moderately interesting that we could make a 30 or 40 second clip of? That's really what this is about, And I try to do a nice, fun show and all that kind of stuff. But then it's really like, did Mosley say anything we could make a short out of? And then like one of our old colleagues, Stephen Catalina, like that, he like has a job now where he just makes shorts. I mean, I want one of those deals. Just like, oh, Mosley, we need to just say like 3 semi-interesting things and just send it in. Like, now that's what I want to do. I mean, that's a good gig. I think that's what Paul does now when he's not out doing comedy. Because he does stand up, He
does stand up, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where. I mean, I don't know where exactly, but he's a funny guy. He's an interesting guy. But I love a good Catalina short. And Stephen, anything else we need to know about that you're involved with? Is business going well? Are you still in the mortgage business? And I mean, this is about year 5 or 6, or maybe even more for you, right?
Yep, still in the mortgage industry. That's going well. And is Parker a sophomore now, Matt? Is she junior, sophomore?
Sophomore. She just had her first day of school at Texas A&M yesterday, and she's done what you always want your kids to do at the start of the year, is move into the sorority house, because that really should help with studies. That should just be great. But she did really well her first year and had a good GPA over there at the Mays School of Business at Texas A&M. So I take a lot of heat for not getting her to Baylor and all of that, but she still loves Baylor. And by the way, Stephen, when your children, and they're starting to grow, I mean, my gosh, Bradley and Abby are got to be really. I mean, at some point, I'm going to look up and those kids are going to be in junior high. What are we?
They're knocking on the door. Bradley's in 5th grade, so he'll be there next year.
Wow, going to be in middle school. But yeah, I would just say, with your growing family and large family, well, Sawyer, I think all those kids, but like, don't rule out Baylor. Now, at TCU, you might want to rule out. But Baylor, I will say, people say, oh, Mosley wanted to save money and send his kid to A&M. Baylor, from a scholarship standpoint, is unbelievable. They get aggressive in trying to get people, because, quite honestly, I hate to say it, Stephen, but A&M, Auburn, University of Texas, like, these kids now are all wanting to go SEC. And unfortunately, my daughter was the same way. You go to a game and you go to a freaking Notre Dame A&M game and you go visit and you're like, oh, that's kind of fun. That's kind of a fun atmosphere. Now what I try to remind these kids is, do you want to go then? Remember, you're going to have about 400 classmates in your first freshman class. Or do you want to walk into a class and maybe have 50 or 60 like you could have at Baylor? Like, it's infinitely easier to navigate your way around a Baylor or a TCU than it is an A&M. I will say that. So they're good and bad both ways.
Yeah, there's been a big push here. A lot of kids going to Arkansas because they want to be in the SEC. I guess they don't want to see any wins, but they just want to be part of the SEC. They're in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well just, call it Texas Tech North or whatever direction. No, but people, they do waive the out of state. I don't know if they'll keep doing that, but that out of state fees, which is crazy at some of these places. But in Arkansas, it's beautiful. Like, it's fun. Like, I get it, man. But I have not gotten caught up in like the spirit of Aggieland or anything like that, so don't ever worry about that. But like the atmosphere on a game day and the actual game presentation is like we might as well just step on a different planet. And again, no knock. I was at TCU last year. I don't have good experiences there. McLean is beautiful, and I love being there. But it's a different world. It really is. But again, Stephen, we loved our experience at a private school, and there are lots of great things about that. So I don't want anybody to hear old Mosley's talking.
They already clipped that. They already clipped that for the short to put out after the show. You just praising Aggieland.
I honestly, if Catalina would have me, I would just go do shorts with him. But I just don't think he's gonna, or Smokey and Mosley, Smokey and Mosley shorts. Like that's what people really want, is just us embrace debate, and the two of us just kind of square off.
Yeah, just 60-second debates.
Mosley, and just get after him about like Midway. I don't like kind of some of what Midway's doing on defense. I don't like. I hate their scheme. And then he defends Midway. Now that'd be a good show. Stephen, thank you, man. Tell Chris or whoever you're working with these days, I said hey, and I appreciate you, man. There are days I wake up and I'm just like, this feels like a Simcox day. And today I would like to see you, because you're very funny on Twitter. You're not tweeting very much, and that's a problem. So please try to commit to getting back in there a little more. I know you got a bunch of kids at the house, and you guys are very busy. But like I can tell that you did this in the middle of a Cowboys preseason game the other night, and you said, "Let Camden Brown wear 88." That's good. That's funny. It's quick. It's nice. So try not to be a stranger. Don't get into the whole Instagram world. I fear you've kind of gone IG on me.
Yeah, Instagram's not great for little short takes like that. So I'll get more involved in Twitter as the football season commences.
All right. I know you like to sort of just to take orders from me like the old days. I'll come up with some other things I'd like to see you do. But all right. Well, give everybody a hug for me at the house, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. Good to talk to you, man.
Stephen Simcox, one of the few guys I've worked with that still talks to me, Kevin. No, they all. Kevin, even your predecessor, I still hear from him all the time. Scotty's always checking in.
Saw Scotty at the zoo the other day.
Bumped into him. What was he doing out there? Did he have his little girl?
He was enjoying the zoo with his daughter, and I was enjoying the zoo with. We got a behind the scenes tour for my 9-year-old.
Dude, the old private tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The private. That sounds like you. You need to get the family up here to this huge volleyball thing now.
They're trying to get me for it.
Baylor is going to do something like that. I will make a promise to you, Kev. Now, sometimes I'm not good. Everybody thinks because I do what I do that I have access to all these tickets, which I don't. But I promise, Kevin, if Baylor's involved next year in one of these huge things, I'll make sure you and the crew get to go. All right.
And I believe the NCAA, I think it's the Final Four, is in San Antonio this year. So,
I can't promise that, but I will. But you ought to go take a peek at that. Yeah. But I'm talking about next year. Baylor's in that.
Yeah.
Some huge volleyball thing, and I think one of the things McNamee's trying to do, Doug, the new AD, is do these big time experiences, and so that leads me to believe that he probably wants to do a volleyball game at McLean.
There you go.
I'd like to see one over at Foster, although you can't. Once you let the kids have a game in the new palace like that, then they don't want to go back to the Farrell. So for now, we need to leave the Farrell. Need to leave them in the Farrell, but then maybe do something over at McLean. He hasn't said that. I'm just speaking for him, but I think that to me makes some sense. I would like to see, since Baylor, they got beat by Texas State the other night, so that's not good. But Baylor's so good at soccer, I would like to see a soccer game at McLean. I would go to that, like a big, and see how many people would come to that. Do you think Baylor could beat that record of 25,000 the other night to see a?
I love it.
Who was that the other night that played? Somebody won 6-0.
Oh,
not Stanford. Who was it? Nebraska?
We just talked about
Nebraska. They love to go support their women.
Volleyball.
But this was a soccer game.
Yeah.
That was a 25,000. I think Baylor people would come out if they did one of these things at McLean. I used to go see our club soccer. They'd play at like Baylor Stadium one time for some reason. Why in the world would they have been playing out there? I mean, it's not like anybody would go to that. All right, it's Mosley Show.
Georgia. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah.
And they played GMU 6-0.
Did you see that goal, Kevin? I did show that to you, didn't I? The Texas State.
Yep.
She sized that thing up.
Mm-hmm. Just across half.
Right across midfield.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And decided, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Because you can do that. Sometimes the goalie gets a little out of position and,
I know, but you also have to have an awesome leg. That girl did. That was incredible. I don't usually ooh and all over anything the Texas State Bobcats do, but Lord help, that was good. And they ought to rank them, put them in the top 25, get them in there. I think Baylor plays Texas in soccer on Thursday. All right, it's Mosley Show. We roll merrily along. And we got some breaking news to share with you on the NFL front next.
Right in the heart of Waco, there's a place Texas pride meets world-class flavor. The Dancing Bear Pub, open 7 days a week, 4 to 11, and offering happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 6. Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursdays is $1 off Texas Pints. A great place to meet up with family, friends, or make new friends. Kick back and soak in the laid-back vibe that keeps Waco coming back for more. Located at 1117 Spade Avenue, Dancing Bear Pub in Waco, where great beer and good company come together.
It's the 50th annual West Fest, presented by West Feeds. This Labor Day weekend, bring the kids and check out the always popular carnival rides, tons of incredible food, unique arts and crafts, as well as plenty of check dancing. West Fest, just 15 minutes north of Waco.
Have you heard the latest about CTWP? Let me tell you. How about 2 cents for a color copy? Only Kia Sierra offers. Don't believe me? We were the copier dog? Grab your paperwork and let's compare. I guarantee CTWP has the best prices and service.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org.
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabins, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
You asked, we delivered. The new Butterfly iQ3. It's the answer in point-of-care ultrasound. With the sharpest image for easier, clear answers. Ready?
Score big on your next ride during the Kickoff with Savings event at Richard Car. 2027 GMC Sierra trucks are coming, so all 2026 models are marked with game-winning savings at Richard Car. Find savings like $10,000 off a 2026 GMC Sierra SLE truck. Plus, well-qualified buyers get 2.9% financing for 72 months. Find championship savings and win on your next deal at their Kickoff the Savings event at Richard Car.
Richard Car, they have the truck for you.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
It's the Mosley Show. Good to be with you. What a day it's been. We've just rolled right through it. And we've had a lot of good stuff. Great to have Stephen Simcox, my old buddy, on. Kev, before, I want you to, Kevin's got, and I have not looked at any of this, because it's just not, other than those Baylor throwbacks, I'm not always a big uniform guy. Kevin, I mean, basically does his whole podcast about it. Kevin loves it. And so Kevin's going to bounce some new NFL uniforms off of me. And then Kevin, you can let me know what the game is going to be we're going to play. But I did want to tell you today, Lane Kiffin, you know, the Big Ten has put up that rule. They're voted for it. They're going to get that through, that you can't, once you're on a preseason roster, on a pro team or whatever, sign a contract, you can't come back to college. Lane Kiffin is pointing the finger back at the SEC and Big Ten for a moralistic double standard, Kev. Appearing on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, the LSU coach took issue with statements from both the SEC and the Big Ten suggesting players who spent time on the NFL roster should not be allowed to return to college football. He said over 100 athletes in multiple sports were cleared and said you could go play. That's a court order. If you think back on all the different court orders of great players that were granted, whether that's Diego Pavia or now Trinidad, that were allowed to play a 6-year, we followed all court orders. I think you get into a really interesting situation as a conference if you're now saying, well, we're not going to follow this court order. These kids that are that a court says can go anywhere, we're going to say, no, you can't. Wow. He said he's not in favor of players who'd been a part of NFL rosters returning to college football generally, but he noted that this specific instance only involves class of 2022 recruits who were not informed of a potential for a 5th year of eligibility prior to entering the NFL draft. So he's basically making the same argument the attorneys are making in court.
And
they
that's
didn't
what I
know
said
at the
too.
time.
This would be a short-term thing. I don't disagree with him. I just think it's funny that of all people, Lane Kiffin is having problems with a moral double standard now.
Yes. He's certainly
slimy.
He said he was aware LSU would become the focal point of the latest controversy. He said whoever the first player committed to was going to be the poster child. I told my team that. There's all kinds of schools that recruited him. Ask Drew Rosenhaus, his agent. There were schools that offered him a lot to come there, including in this conference and including his previous school, but he chose us. I said, get ready, guys. This is going to be Lane Kiffin and LSU are doing something nobody else is doing. So again, this is the old everybody else wants to do it, everybody else is doing it argument. All right, LSU seems to be very good at this argument. We'll wait. He's out there bringing them in. I mean, if Will Wade could, he would try to bring in half the Knicks roster if he could. They got
Pete
to
Golding's
go
pretty good at it too, a former Lane Kiffin assistant.
Yeah. Kiffin went on to say they got to go to the real world and see how hard it is, and that it's not everything they thought. They're able to help the younger players to say, hey, do what these coaches tell you, because when you're in a camp at the next level, you got to do everything. Oh, great. Oh, great. We got them from camp, and now they can be leaders. They can be ambassadors.
They got a taste of the real world. No, they got a taste of what the salary would be on an NFL practice squad and what it could be if they came back to college football. That's it. That's it.
Thank you. Although the minimum salary would be, if they made a roster, would be somewhere around $300,000, which again, both of these players probably going to make more than that to come back to school. Wait, where did they have this money? Did they have this money budgeted? How in the world did LSU come up with all this money all of a sudden?
It's almost like we're blurring lines between college and professional sports,
which we've been doing ever since Well, and by the way, to say any of these schools, I mean, these schools have been cutting corners for generations, okay? We just legalized it finally, but then even when it gets legalized, people are going to push the envelope, and they're going to cheat. All right, is this cheating? No. Is this ethically right? I don't know. It's murky, all right? I'll just say, if Will Wade's doing it, it's unethical. That's the bar, I can promise you. Anything he's doing, it's unethical.
Yep.
It's okay.
All right.
What do we have? What do you have?
Okay.
Give me. We got some new NFL uniforms,
Yes.
some
So
rivalry stuff.
Yes. So it's this year's versions of the NFL rivalry. So two divisions get a chance to do brand new uniforms that they get to use in one game against a division rival over the next 3 years. Last year, it was the NFC West and the AFC East. And so they rotated the map, and now it's the AFC South and the NFC North. So those are your teams. You got 8 teams to pick from. And so last time we did something like
Blind
this.
draw.
We did a blind rank, okay? I used the fact that we have a company new rule that we are not able to use full images, and so I cropped them. And so you have to guess what the uniform is, what the team is, just by seeing a portion of the uniform. Okay? That's why we get to stay legal and still have some fun. You ready?
There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
So
surely we could show a freaking uniform. That's unbelievable.
I will give you a little bit of a glimpse quickly because time has something to do with the legalities of it. So at the end, but I'm not going to give you. I won't tell you if you're right or wrong. I'm just going to give you a chance to guess based on a jersey and a helmet crop in. Okay. So I'm going to start off easy. Remember, AFC South, NFC North. What team do you think this is? That's the jersey. There's the helmet.
Bears.
Okay. Next up. That's the jersey. That's the helmet. Jersey and helmet.
What did you say? AFC South?
Uh-huh. And the NFC North.
Okay. And this is like a rivalry uniform?
Well, it's just a special uniform that they got to design that they.
Okay, Jags.
Okay. And then next up, jersey and the helmet.
Vikings.
All right. And then here we go. Next up, jersey and helmet.
Packers.
All right. And jersey and helmet.
Indy.
All right. Next up, see, I only get to load so many images in here. So I am going to load some more in here. Next up, jersey, and helmet.
Titans.
Okay. And jersey, and helmet.
Golly, that could be Titans.
It gets a little
more. That looks more like Titans right there.
All right. So you're going back. So you think this is? So we got that's the New Jersey and helmet.
Detroit.
So you think that one's Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I believe we only have one more here. Here's the jersey. And here's the helmet. There we go.
Man, that almost looks like Lions as well.
That's what I say. It gets a little difficult then. I gave you some easy ones there at the beginning.
I thought I got the Colts right. Unless they're trying to do like an old Oilers thing. Jags. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me because that looks like Titans as well. Okay. Go ahead and tell me. I don't know. I haven't guessed Texans though. I don't know. None of those really look like anything Texans.
All right.
Okay. What do you have?
Okay. So let's go through them. From the top, this one is the Bears. That's fairly obvious. Not many teams have orange, and only one team in those two divisions got orange. This one, yes, it's Jags. Once again, the teal on the helmet for sure gave it away. And then, of course, purple is Vikings. You got that one. Packers, you definitely got. And you got the Colts. You got that one right as well. This is Houston right here. I'll show you the whole jerseys here in a second. And then this one that looks very Panther-esque. A lot of people heavily criticizing this for looking too much like the Panthers. That is the Lions, and this one is the Titans. So, quick look at all the jerseys. There you go. At the bottom there, the Bears are going to combine that with orange pants.
Which is the Texans?
Upper with the 12 right there.
Oh.
And then,
I don't really understand why that's Texans. I finally see the red
and all white pants too. They're going with a complete icy look. And
color
then,
rush.
Here look at the helmets there real quick. So, blue helmet for the Colts.
Which one's the Texans helmet?
Up here, right here, with the H on it.
The white?
Yep.
H. I don't see an H.
Yeah. It's their new alternate logo.
I don't.
So.
Yeah, that didn't do much for me.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the Colts is like somewhat adjacent to the coloring and everything.
They just took it and flipped it. Instead of a blue horseshoe and a white helmet, they just flipped it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. I felt like I did okay. I thought that was weird at the end. I couldn't.
I
can't.
A lot of light blue. A lot of light blue selections there at the end to sort through. So did great.
All right, sir. Enjoyed that. Way too much uniform talk this week. Was that last week? What? I don't even know what week it is. Oh yeah, last week we did the Baylor throwbacks. That was very exciting. It looks like Jamar Chase is hurt. Giants wide receiver Calvin Austin was carted off today from practice with what one source described as a serious knee injury. And And then earlier today, Jamar Chase just told radio station that it was good. He's good, and said it was a little, quote, hyperextension. All right, so that is good news coming from there. Running back Kareem Hunt visited today with the Detroit Lions, the former Chiefs running back, as you recall. So there's a little news coming out of the NFL. Thank you, Brazos Landing. What a day. What a day to go by the Brazos Landing. In fact, I called over today. I needed to ask Stephanie something, and sure enough, she was dining with Scott, her husband, at the Brazos Landing. Man, what a beautiful place to eat lunch, have a happy hour, enjoy some time right out by the water. They got great food and beautiful hospitality. It is the Brazos Landing. I'll be there for a show coming up soon. I think September 16th is our next show on the road. Also, Kevin, I wanted to say on behalf of Richard Carr Motors, just a quick word. I mean, some of those deals that they have right now are just really, really exciting. And this is just some of the. I was just looking at the enclaves at Richard Carr, and I mean, we are talking some major deals that they're offering. And I was going to take a peek real quick just to tell you more specifically. During the time for a truck upgrade, the GMC Sierras, best on the road, 2027 Sierras coming and moving the 2026 models at big discounts. And then the Buick SUVs they have right now, the owners of the non-GM products save $8,500 on a 3-row Buick Enclave, or save $6,750 on a mid-size Buick Envision. Locally owned, locally run. Kick off this fall with big savings at Richard Carr's Kickoff to Savings event going on now. All right, and man, those pre-owned cars and trucks are clearly marked with savings. These are unreal deals. 12-month, 12,000-mile limited warranty, and I'm sure they'll sell you even more of an extended warranty. But get out there to Richard Carr. We love having Richard Carr. We are so appreciative. Everybody have a great rest of the afternoon. It's Mosley. It's the Mosley Show. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the 50th annual Westfest, presented by West Feeds, this Labor Day weekend in West Texas. Bring your dancing shoes and experience the power of polka with 13 bands and over 40 hours of polka music all weekend long. Westfest, just 15 minutes north of Waco.
David Willey here. I got a question for you. How do you know what kind of deal you're getting on your copier? If you really want to know, give me a call and I'll be glad to talk to you about it. CTWP, your only local copier company.
Score big on your next ride during the Kickoff to Savings event at Richard Carr. Score your biggest savings of the year right now on Buick. Get a 3-row 2026 Buick Enclave and save $8,500. Or non-GM owners can save $6,750 on all 2026 Buick Envisions in stock. Get here now or go online and save thousands on Buick at Richard Carr. Find championship savings and win on your next deal at their Kickoff to Savings event at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
Summer isn't over yet. Make every last splash count at Waco Surf. Catch perfect waves, float the lazy river, or relax on the beach while the kids make unforgettable memories. Stay in their hotel or private cabins, or hook up with your RV. Located just 90 miles from Dallas and Austin, set on 450 acres in the heart of Texas, Waco Surf is unlike any other water park around. Before school starts, give your family one more epic adventure. WacoSurf.com. Book your stay today and catch a wave.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig!
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.